Right, now we're going to Garmin. So you think, well, what's that got to do with cycling? Well, of course, the company itself really was an inventor and a prime mover in the GPS navigation space. Started off mostly in aviation and related devices, but over the years, they then started developing GPS as standalones. Also, the radios, still active in the aviation market, but they started developing the running watches and the little clip-on devices that go on the bicycles, which, of course, people use to track their workouts. $10.1 billion. Price earnings ratio 19.24, dividend yield of 3.94%. It had a moment in like the 2005, 2006 where people thought that they were going to get into the cell phone market. But then they sort of somehow let that opportunity go.
Yes.
How do you feel about Garmin?
Garmin is a very nice company. They have managed to keep their market segment in despite of mobile. So you're quite right, they totally missed mobile and they're not actually in mobile.
And then people said, but I don't need a navigational device because I've got one in my iPhone.
Correct. So you've seen the automotive sector, I think that's where they've lost quite a lot of market share because people use apps on their phone, Google Maps or Waze or something like that, which has really replaced that GPS device you used to have in your car.
Which was that often a Garmin device?
Often. They had TomTom and Garmin were the big ones in that sector. But what they've done is capitalize on the so-called wearables market. And I think that's another trend in the sector that you can look at. The wearables is becoming quite a big trend.
And let's be clear, what has happened here is the newest versions of Garmin runners, the Phoenix 3, actually has the heart rate monitor built into it. That's critical.
Correct.
However, it's not like they don't have competition in that space. Fitbit, and then what about the Apple Watches with a GPS chip now?
So Apple has really hurt the wearables market, except Garmin. Garmin, because they've got loyalty. I think that's what's key. You have adamant Garmin users. They say you can't really use anything else. I'm a Garmin user.
Connect for me or die.
There we go, exactly. So they have managed to capitalize on this whole almost subsystem and a subculture of Garmin.
And how does it work on the bicycle? Do you somehow connect the thing to the bike and then you wear a chest strap
it's all
or some other thing?
Bluetooth enabled, and they've become very high end, and you can download maps and follow maps, and so it really is become almost like a cultural thing.
Points.
Correct, and they've linked in.
Let's look at the share chart because this one has been a bit patchy, and like I said, it touched an all-time high of $120 in 2007. It's been a bit all over the show since then, a bit up, bit down, and it depends a little bit, I guess, on whether or not they seem to be defending that space. So as the Apple Watch gets launched, they go down, then they go back up again. I don't know. I mean, they also make golf range finders. Why, as a matter of interest, is the headquarter in Switzerland? Did they sort of do an inversion externalization? Because it was founded by two Americans.
I think it's something to do with that.
Tax location.
Tax location, and they also felt that, I think they moved the technology R&D type of move there also.
Okay. So how does it look for you?
No, I like the valuation. It's reasonable. The dividend yield's a nice dividend yield, and it's a company that I think will last. It's got a great brand name, global brand name in this space, and it does, I think, have that loyalty amongst its users. So I'm hot on this one.
Okay. Look, I own a Garmin watch for running, but I must say my Apple Series 2 watch with the GPS chip has now become my preferred device. So I'm going to go with not hot, but anecdotal, I'm afraid. But there you go. So Garmin.